Hello and welcome to week 5 of Social Work 636. The topic this week is around strategic planning and program design. As always, we have our objectives reading and media, and our objectives for this session are as follows, and it's taking a minute to load. The objectives are to describe the process of program development, describe the strategic planning process, and then to examine legal and regulatory issues in organizational practice. Readings for this week are the first 4 chapters in the Brody and Nair book. This article is around developing smart, what I would say are objectives. This article tends to use goals and objectives interchangeably. As you would recall, I see goals as those areas we aspire to, but they're not necessarily measurable. And the objectives are what is measurable to achieve those goals. And those objectives are SMART: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time phase. I think the article calls it time focused. So there's one discussion forum this week. And that discussion forum is around the third part of your proposal. And so the third part of the proposal, we'll get into the discussion, requires you, as you did with the other two, to complete a draft. And that draft is going to be using a template. And you will be uploading that draft on Thursday and commenting on your partner's drafts by between Friday and Sunday. So you're going to use a template again. And in this case, the template looks like this. You are now going to be providing information about the theoretical reasoning for your program. So what's your evidence that what you are proposing will impact or address the unmet needs you have identified, which is going to require some research? So you're looking at theory connection to your proposal, your agency description, program task. So what now specifically will your program entail? How will you deliver the services, and who's responsible for what in this design? Please remember always that you have to provide references in relation to what you are writing. So the readings that would pertain to doing this program design, please make sure that you add them to your template before you submit. So again, you're going to be posting by Thursday and then responding to your partners and giving them feedback. Also for this week, you're going to be posting now all the information you've incorporated, my comments, the comments from your fellow students, and now you're going to post your assignment 3, which is your program proposal part 2. And again, just a reminder that even though this section is a budget and it is a template for an objective-based evaluation, you have had readings on budget, you have had readings on evaluation, so please incorporate them into your part 2 before you submit. So with your budget, you can add information on line item budgeting for your objective-based evaluation. If you're doing it as an objective-based evaluation, because you could be doing it as a process evaluation, please add a reference from the reading. That would be something I would be looking for. So to talk a little bit about the readings for this week, the readings also talk about leadership. And I guess the first question I would ask all of you is, are you a leader? And if your answer is no, I hope that by the time you receive your MSW, each of you should say yes to that question, because by virtue of having the degree, others are going to consider you a leader. So what type of leader are you? What type of leader will you be? And there are very varied leadership styles. The reading talks about a directive leader, and this is one who takes personal responsibility for all major decisions, often coming across as authoritarian. In other readings might be called very autocratic. Are you a particip a particip a particip a participative leader? And that is, you allow others to have a voice. You may, in the end, be the person that makes a decision, but other people get to participate. This is sometimes also called a more democratic leader. Another leadership style is transformative. And this is a leader who is initiating change, who is more proactive versus reactive, but also is one that does mentorship, allows others to grow, sees people their strengths when they don't even see their strengths. And so this is a person who is very open, very much someone that many of us would see ourselves wanting to be. There's the laissez-faire leader, who is not really a leader, because it's come see, come saw, what will be, passes on their authority to everyone else. There's that charismatic leader who people follow because they just want to be around them, but sometimes that's also called the cult of personality. And maybe in the end, things do not get done. The visionary leader, again, is like the transformative leader, and that is somebody who is not always reactive, but again, proactive. The best leaders treat staff with dignity, have good listening skills, which as practitioners we want to develop, whether we're clinicians or administrative, that we are expected to be honest. So do not promise what you can't deliver. If you make a mistake, own the mistake and don't throw other people under the bus. That you are someone that people can trust. That you have a sense of emotional intelligence, and that is, you are self-aware, you are self-regulating, you motivate, you have empathy, the same things we want for good clinicians. In terms of strategic planning, I've talked about the fact that this is a time to relook at a mission, that if an agency doesn't have a vision, this is a good time to develop a vision, that you want to look at your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities and threats, a time to do new goals and objectives. Often strategic planning is done for 3 years out, but hopefully this is again a document that gets revisited frequently, and that there's a timetable attached to your strategic plan. The readings also talk about implementing all of this. And so you have to develop the tasks and activities that need to be done in order to achieve the objectives, to achieve the goal, and that often administrators have to engage in the same task that clinicians do, and that is using a problem-solving approach and following the steps to that problem-solving approach. I've always said if you have good clinical skills, which they are the basis for having good supervisory and administrative skills. So those skills from being a good clinician transfer over to being a good administrator. So again, if you have questions on the assignment this week, please let me know. I look forward to reading your final submission for the program proposal part 2. I would encourage you actually to put part one and part two together when you're submitting. So now you can see whether they hang together when you put them together in the same document. So I would encourage you to do that. You don't have to do that, but I would encourage you to do that because then you will see when you submit part three whether your proposal is hanging together, whether there are things you might change if you were really going to be submitting this proposal. So again, I look forward to reading your assignments and have a wonderful week.